so I'm going to get rid of this side view thing here and move it over. So everybody should be able to see a screen that says must have apps for real estate investors.
Yes, we do.
Okay, awesome. So I have literally, in preparing for this, I will show you right now. There is, well, you can't see me now, can you? If there's like a little side screen, I am literally holding my phone right now, and I went on my phone and somebody is definitely needing to mute their device. Okay. So basically, I went on my phone, I looked at all the apps that I literally use all the time, and I put that on here for you tonight. I use some much more frequently, probably daily, and others less so. But I think all of them, and I've gone through them over and over, and this is from years and years and years of usage. So I think you'll find some in here that will be helpful. Okay. So the first one, in fact, let me see if I can move this too, because I don't want this to mess you up. Let's see if I can move it. No, I can't really. Okay. So the first and foremost thing is it's key. Certain devices have more capability than others, right? So if you're not tech friendly, you're going to need to sharpen your skills. So, I know that there are people that, we ourselves and people that we work with and, people in our family and friends who don't always, embrace the technology. In a field like this, it definitely is to your benefit to push through, plow through, break through the wall, because it will make your days, your life, and your quality of life so much easier, so much better. Okay. So try to, get in there and sharpen your skills with the tech friendly stuff. Productivity on the go, it's key. Most everything that I'm going to share with you tonight is something, I think probably everything is something you can use on your phone or is, based on your phone and app, but you can also use it on a PC, most of them. Accessibility, just, being on the go, being mobile, the old phrase, work smarter, not harder kind of thing. That's key. We all want to be able to have more quality time for our lives, friends and family and so on, or just being able to sit back and have some me time, So having accessibility to these things through these apps, to contracts and forms and all of this, it is awesome. The last note here, get a scanner or a scanner app. I'm actually going to share one with you tonight. Okay. All right. So it's all about what's in your toolbox. You need to have some kind of device that when you're on the go, mobilely, a smartphone or some kind of tablet, laptop, printer, scanner. If you can do Excel or Google Sheets, I think it's called, in Google space, then you're all the better for it because you'll be able to do a lot of things as far as tracking leads and being successful with what you're doing in real estate, just easier for you. Wi-Fi hotspots. A lot of people don't realize, and I actually have had a lot of meetings where somebody needed to connect to Wi-Fi, but they didn't have one locally. Your phone, actually most phones, if you kind of pull down your settings from the top of the screen, actually, let me see if I can show you something real quick here. So if you can see right here, so from the top of the screen, I'm going to just unlock my phone here for a quick sec. I'm going to show you something. And you may already know this, but on the top of your screen, if you pull this down, right, all the way, there is actually a little icon in here and it says hotspot. So if you click on that hotspot, depending on the plan that you have, you can actually create a mobile hotspot. You can connect a tablet device, laptop, and so on too. So you probably already knew it, but just in case you didn't, there you have it. Okay, I'm going to go back to sharing this screen again. Okay. All right. So having the toolbox, what is in your toolbox basically, is important to be able to, oh, I don't know why this won't let me go back now. I apologize. Okay, there we go. So the first one I'm going to talk about is called PDF filler. I'm sure everybody has heard what a PDF is. You attach a PDF files, and so on. There's actually a website and an app for your phone called PDF filler. On that, you can do, I want to say that there is a free trial. By the way, I should just say this. I don't make any money off of recommending any of these to you. There's nothing like that going on, affiliate fees or whatever. I'm just recommending them because I feel like it provides a service to everybody if they know about some stuff that we use that kind of tried and true. So getting back to PDF filler, what it allows you to do through this free trial, you can kind of, poke around, see if you like it. I think we pay about $10 a month. I think it's $9.99 a month. We use it a lot. We can actually upload things, forms, and so on that's in their database. And they recently kind of married their database with another one called US Legal Forms, I think. And so we have access to all of that as well. It's fantastic for searching pretty much any kind of document from, just contracts with, people, bill of sale. I mean, just anything. You can put it in there. You can upload it to it. If you have a document that you need to revise in some way and it's a PDF document, you can actually, it has an option to convert the PDF document to a Word document or potentially other types. But it allows you to create this document in the system or upload it from your computer and mobile phone to create a signature. And you have so many options to send within this PDF filler app. You can literally click a button and they will, through PDF filler, they will put it in an envelope so a person gets a hard copy of what they're signing. If they say, no, I don't want an email or a fax, I want to see a hard copy after I sign it. So you can do that. Of course, there's a little fee for doing that. If you email it, there's no extra fee to my knowledge. I do it all the time. And then there is a fax. So there's a lot of companies, institutions, government agencies, banks, things like that, who still require a fax. So I'm going to give you another option on fax later on, but PDF filler does offer a fax. It will give you a number. You can send from that number and receive to that number. And it comes in through just like a PDF email attachment, document attachment. Also, which I was shocked to see recently, they started adding a notary service to it. So they do, and I did it. And they had basically had a video conference with me. I had to show IDs and all kinds of stuff, and they notarized the document. And I was just amazed. I've never seen an e-notary service. So that was something, it was fun to do. Took a little while, but it was fun to do. Send docs for e-signing. Obviously, we've talked about that. And we're going to talk about another type in a second. And already I talked about the fact that we can convert PDF or Word, to Word docs and other forms of documents. And I know that a lot of people already probably know that, but if you have the difference between, I should just say this real quick, the difference between a PDF and a Word doc is a PDF is like a snapshot, like a picture of a page, whereas a Word document is something you can probably edit, but the PDF option with this PDF filler is it literally lets you upload that picture document to its system, and then you can go in and make revisions to that document. So it's pretty cool for $10 a month. All right, so the next one that I was just referring to is called DocuSign. I'm sure anybody in this business, especially real estate agents and brokers, know about DocuSign. There's many different names. DocuSign is a brand. So just think of it as like an e-signature. So it's a great app, or anything like that is a great app for signing docs on the go. Again, when you have a phone that you have a stylus, or you have the ability to sign on your phone. I put a little note here at the bottom because the Galaxy Note, I've been using it for a while. It's an Android based, and I apologize to the Apple users, but I got it a while ago, and I upgrade into the Galaxy Note phones because I can do more with documents and contracts and things like that with that phone through that, stylus type thing. So allows you, obviously, DocuSign, just like PDF filler, allows you to review and sign contracts. We download electronic copy to your device, print it if you want a hard copy for your file, if that makes you feel better, warm and fuzzy that you have a copy in your file folder. Okay. So the next one, I forget how many years now. It's got to be close to 10, maybe more. I really feel like I'm making myself, like dating myself there. But there was an old note taking app that I used to use called Evernote, and I abandoned that probably about a decade ago for this other one called Color Note. And I put the little icon at the bottom, so if you're searching it on your phone app, an Android or Apple device, that's what you're looking for, that little note symbol with a yellow, almost like a Post-it note. And it allows you on your phone to create a new note. You can create a checklist, and you can document whatever you want to. You can speak into it, even like I can walk around a house that I'm looking at for potential turnover, and I can, speak into it, dictate into it, and say, paint the kitchen, do this, do this, do this. And then I can literally share that with one button to my contractor, which is extremely convenient because when you're doing a turnover and the contractor's working with you all the time, you kind of know, he knows what I'm wanting and vice versa. So it's just super convenient. So it's called Color Note, even though that's a Post-it note that's yellow. It's Color Note. Okay. All right. This one, Carl's. Now, I don't know Carl, but I love Carl because what Carl lets us do with his wonderful app, and it's literally called Carl's Mortgage App Calculator, or Mortgage App. I think it's Mortgage App Calculator. Yeah. And the icon looks just like that little picture you see in the right-hand corner of your screen. So what you're allowed to do, and this is in particular extremely helpful for seller financing, or if you're purchasing something and you're like, okay, if I put this much down and this is my interest rate, what's my payment going to be? So this gives you all of that. You input all the data. It's extremely user-friendly. And you can literally, it gives you an amortization schedule. It gives you a summary. You can click on summary, and it gives you that summary so you can see all of your interest payments for the entire life and term of the loan, all of it. And it has a share tool, so you can send that report to the person that either is going to pay, or maybe a partner or someone else that you're talking about the transaction with, or the potential project with. So Carl's Mortgage App Calculator, and to my knowledge, it's free. I've never had to pay for it. Okay. By the way, if anybody has questions as we're going, please jump in, because I would love to hear them, because it's relevant to what we're talking about at that time. If not, if you want to talk, or if something comes up later, just feel free to put in the chat box or ask at the end.
Yeah, just put them in the chat if anybody's got a question, and we'll make sure that Cheryl gets them. Okay.
Okay, thanks. All right, so this next one, I've mentioned it before. I apologize for being, having a repetition here. But basically it is called Cam Card. I think it's probably hard to see that right now because it's hidden underneath the top there. But it is called the Cam Card app, C-A-M-C-A-R-D, Cam Card. And it is a business card scanner. So if you're at the live and in-person TREIA meeting, when it ticks off again, I can't wait. If somebody hands you their business card, which I hope they do, because if they're there to network, it's great if they have one. So when you get home or that next day, you're gonna, hopefully, if you've talked to enough people and networked with enough people, you're gonna have a stack of business cards. It's a pain in the butt to enter in all of them. And if anyone here listening is and attending this meeting is anything like me, when I first started getting stacks of them, I literally, it was embarrassing, because I would have like a box of them or a bowl of them, and it looked like it was one of those things when you went into like a coffee shop and you put your business card in to win something. It was just this collection that kept growing and growing. And then I found a Cam Card, and it was the most fun because I literally downloaded it. And what you do is you use the actual app, which uses your camera and syncs with your camera, and you line up the business card in the frame that the app gives you to take a picture of it, and it snaps a picture of the business card. And not only does it do that, but it extracts all of the contact information, which is the key to why this app is so cool. So what you want to do is make sure you verify it's correct, because depending on how a person sets up their business card, it could very easily pull something in a, incorrect. So if they have a lot of graphics or a lot of colors or small print or something, it might not pick it up correctly. So all you have to do is basically just, quick glance at it, make sure everything. I always look for the two most important things: their name, their phone number, and their email address. And then you just categorize it, click, and then you can even share that too. If somebody's like, hey, just like with your phone, how you can share contacts, but this allows you to share by category. So if you're like, hey, send me the contact list for business TREIA networking people, or whatever you want to call it, you can do that in a group share. So it's pretty cool, and it's free. So it's a great business card scanner. And there's two different scanners we're talking about tonight, but that's the business card scanner. Okay. All right. So nobody likes to do the manual data entry. I know I don't like it. So, all right. The next one we're going to get into is fun, because it helps us to evaluate our valuation of our deals. There is an app. It's called Deal Check. It's one of many that are out there, but we use it. I've used it. I have several projects in my Deal Check app that I have used for the deal valuation, and it does break it down into these 4 categories that you see below. So there is a kind of a tab, if you will, for rentals, and then we'll ask you certain things that you have to input for the rentals. This is a lot like Bigger Pockets under the tools and the calculation tools. So the first one is rentals, then the burst strategy, then the flips, and the wholesales. And again, it does allow you to create the project and then share that report with a potential, if you're a wholesaler, with a potential buyer. It allows you to share it with partners, or investment partners, lenders, and so on and so forth. So it's really easy. It's free unless you do the upgrade, and I'm not quite sure how much that is because I haven't used that. Okay. All right, this is a good one. The U.S. Housing and Urban Development Foreclosure Home Search. Snap a picture of that if you don't already know it. The website address is the viewhudforeclosures.com. And they do have a national search. Government-owned homes, obviously, is self-explanatory. And they do have certain criteria. Some of them don't let you put in an offer. An investor can't put in an offer until there's like a period of time that has to pass for the homeowners to be able to bid on it, an owner-occupied type homeowner buyer. And if they don't, and it's still there, then, obviously investors can, which happens more than you would think. So it's just a great, I would say, resource. Yeah. So that one, not so much an app, that's a website. Okay. A lot of people that I know and work with use PropStream. Just used it the other day with one of them on the phone. And it is very comprehensive. It has great real estate data. You can use it to evaluate leads as well. And which is probably one of the best parts of it, it has a lot of public data. So if you don't have your real estate license or broker's license, and you don't have access to that as easily, we all do have access to it, but it's harder to get at. PropStream makes it very easy. It's very streamlined, click, and you kind of drill down on things and you can get that public data. I did not put it on here because I think I talk about it so much, but there is a website. It's not an app, but there is a website, and it's called, I'm going to say it and spell it because it's a little bit confusing to hear, but it's called That's Them. So it's THAT''S, That's Them, THEM. And if you put, Google That's Them, it's an actual search engine for personal property data, public data. If you're looking for an owner of a particular home, you can put in an address and it will probably give you the owner's names. You could look it up on the tax record and kind of use it as a preliminary resource tool to, kind of explore further. That's called That's Them. Obviously, this is PropStream, so 2 different things. Okay. All right. The next one is called Jot Not, and I can't remember if it's a capital N or not, but either way, it's called Jot Not, and there's Jot Not Pro. And this is a scanner app, and this comes in really handy when you need to take a picture of a document and send it to somebody on an email. I think a lot of people probably do this with their phone, a little snapshot with their phone and text it or put in an email that way as an attachment. One of the problems that happens is unless you have a clear, like a piece of plastic that's the same size as a page that can, kind of hold it down nice and flat, and you're taking a picture directly above it, you're going to get shadow, folds in the paper, all kinds of different things. So the best thing to do if you don't have a perfectly flat piece of paper, then we actually have some pieces of like plastic that you just get from Staples, report cover type stuff. It's clear and you don't even know that it's on it, but it gives you this really nice clear document that converts to a PDF. You don't need it, but it's very helpful for the person who's on the receiving end. But this Jot Not Pro basically acts as a scanner. You just, place your phone right over it, literally vertically above it, not at an angle. And it converts it to the PDF just as it says and attaches it to an email or text or whatever you'd like. But to my knowledge, Jot Not Regular is free. And the Jot Not Pro, if you use it a ton, it does cost something. I'm not sure. I don't think it's a lot, but it does cost something. Okay. All right. Zillow Rentals and Zillow. And believe it or not, there's like Zillow Rental Manager, and then there's Zillow for home search and sell and all of that other stuff. We had at one point used Zillow Rentals or Rental Manager to get applications and all kinds of things, tracking and all that stuff. And it does have some great functions. But now we have our own software for our property management company, so we don't need that anymore. We still use it. We still use it as a resource to post things to. Our website automatically, it has an algorithm to post it to Zillow, as well as many other real estate-based websites. But if you're using Zillow Rentals and you are managing a few of your own or something like that, it can be extremely handy. It saves the information. So a year or so after, if somebody was to move out for whatever reason, here it happens with military. That listing is just sitting there inactive, and you can reactivate that listing with the same original pictures, or you can upload new pictures or whatever the case. So it's really, I'm sure most people on here probably use it, but it's really convenient. And then of course, when you're looking for things, if you don't have access to the MLS, like an agent would or broker, putting in search criteria and saving those searches. And I like to go back to the listings that did not sell, that sat there and either got canceled, and it was a long time ago. So I like to reach out to them. And I had a whole campaign for many years that did that, where I would ask them, hey, did you have any luck selling your home? No, I didn't. Can you tell me what went, what could have gone better? And we have this whole conversation. And then if I can get you, what's the number that you need to, your sale, your price, so that we can get to a place where you're happy. If I bring you a buyer, that you'll agree to it, and everybody, it's a win-win type situation. And so it allowed me to, with Zillow and the MLS too, it allowed me to kind of go back and pull those older listings out and have those conversations with them, which actually led to transactions, great off-market leads. And you're not soliciting at that point because it's no longer listed, so it's all good. Great source for buy and hold rental rates also, Zillow Rentals. And one of the things that I love about Zillow Rentals and Zillow in general is it shows the plot lines. So if you are looking at a house in Zillow and you change the setting, it shows, I think it's satellite and whatever the regular setting is. And then there's a third option, it says lot lines. You click on that when you're looking at the map part of it. It will actually give you the lot lines. So you can just, it's not like a survey that you would hire an engineer to do, but if you're doing a cursory sort of look around the property and, maybe you're meeting somebody there, a potential buyer, and they say, because this has happened to me many times, you know, where does the land, where's the border, the boundary, where does this land end? Does it include this patch of trees, or is the fence on this side, you know? So it's, you know, 2 or 3 clicks and you're there, and you can see, oh yeah, look, it includes that or it doesn't include that based on what Zillow says. So you're not necessarily stating it, Zillow is stating it and you're referring to Zillow. So it's, you know, safe. All right. Okay. So plot lines are good for that app. All right. Google Photos. Okay. This one is, I can't even tell you how much money it saved me, how much money it has helped me to reclaim for theft, all kinds of things. So I can't stress, and I know that with Apple devices, it's probably a different, and I have to say I do have an Android, so I am slanting towards the Google stuff just because it's what I use. But Google Photos, I'm going to spend 2 slides on this because it has a couple of options that make my life easier. And everybody that works with me who uses this makes both their lives easier and mine. So having Google Photos or an app on your phone that's synced to your camera. So every picture that you take goes into your gallery and also goes into your photos. So meaning the cloud. So in this case, we're talking Google Photos goes into that cloud, right? So you don't have to do any, you know, we're not talking about using like a Nikon Pro, this, that, whatever. And I don't know all those, you know, all that terminology, but we're talking about using your phone as a camera, no tripods required, and so on. Okay, it takes a minute to do it, and you can document with Google Photos, obviously, all these things: job progress, insurance claims, home inspection, collaboration, having somebody go look at something, whatever. So all of these bullets, and I'm sure there's 10 more that I'm not even mentioning, but how do you share those photos is the key. So this is what we do. So you sync to your smartphone or camera, obviously. So you have your photo cloud synced to your camera and or, you know, your actual picture taking device in your phone, which is the camera. You are going to go to not your gallery, but you're going to go to this little icon that you see looks like a pinwheel, I guess you would say. And you're going to go to that. And when you go to that, it's going to show you all the pictures. It could be hundreds. Hopefully it is. Hundreds of pictures when you go to look at a house, consider it for purchase. And you want to take it, you're taking pictures of everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You want to see it all. So you probably have a couple hundred pictures that you're snapping inside, outside, everywhere. How to share those pictures, couple hundred pictures with 3 clicks. Okay, so you go to your Google Photos icon on your device, click on it. You're going to see a whole list of date ordered, you know, pictures. If you took 200 pictures that day, and it's going to have the date, so today's date, February 4th, you are going to look at the first one that's in that group on that date for that date. You're going to push on it like long press. And all of a sudden, that's going to light up the entire group, you know, kind of highlight that entire group and select that whole group. Then when you do that, it actually gives you something at the bottom and it asks you if you want to share it. And you know, the little share symbol that's looks like a sideways V, you know, you click on that and you have then the option to click on something that says create link. When you create that link, it is literally pulling in every single one of those 200 photos. And you send that link to whoever you want, either through a text or a email address. You can select it from your contacts. So literally in 3 clicks, you're sending it and you're avoiding sending, and I've gotten them. I had somebody, you know, I was mentoring a lot of people and, you know, they would go and look at the houses and I tell them take several pictures inside and out. And I would get 10 to 20 emails with 4 pictures each. And I would open up my email box and it would say John Smith, and it would be literally 20 emails. There'd be 4 attachments, all the way down on every one of them, which requires me to open every one, save every one. I don't want to have to do that. the amount of time, that it took him to do that, the amount of time it takes the receiver to download it and to see it all is just, it's a nightmare. So literally you can click on this link and just view the slideshow, and it's just super easy. So everybody that we work with, we teach them how to do it so that we can avoid getting that big block of emails with 4 or so attachments on them, depending on the device they're sending it from, that limits it. So it just saves a lot of time and heartache, and you can send hundreds of photos in a few clicks.
Okay, Cheryl, can I
Yeah.
ask a question?
Absolutely.
The link, does the link limit file size?
It does not, and that's the beauty of it being a link.
Yes, but I've been trying to create a link and send a video.
That's not the same as pictures. So if you're
Okay.
sending photos, there's no limit. If you're sending a video, that's totally different, apples and oranges. Yeah.
Okay, so do you know how to send a video? Because I can't get it to go.
There are ways I can talk to you for sure.
Yeah.
There are other ways and apps that we can use to do that for sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank
The
you.
easiest one is through Facebook, actually, to send it that way, because it allows you to send longer, several seconds long or minutes long, up to, I think, 5 or 10 minutes or something like that. So
Okay, this video is 13 minutes long.
so you might have to break it into like section 1, section 2 or something, but Google Photos, so I'm just talking about photos that are in your Google Photo gallery.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And if for some reason, you're welcome, if for some reason it's in your phone gallery, but it's not in your Google icon, picture gallery, you can just simply upload it from the gallery with a few other clicks. So it's pretty easy. And the beauty of it is, if it's like, no, it's not easy, if you Google it, it tells you how to do it. It's a little DIY video. So it can show you how to.
I tried that, but it just says to create a link and send that to the person. And I've been trying to do that. And it just, when it gets to the other end, it just says the gallery is empty.
Are you talking about photos or you're talking about videos now?
I'm talking about a video.
Video, yeah. So that's the difference. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So I'll Google sending a video.
Yeah. And I don't know how many people who are watching tonight have Android devices and have Google Photo icons on their, apps on their devices. But hopefully, if you didn't already do that, hopefully it helped with something that you can now do to save a lot of time. I know there's been 2 or 3 different people when we first got here that we started working with, and they were sending me like photos, and I literally had a little like meeting, and I said, okay, everybody take out your phones and everyone click on this, now click on this. And even my son, my youngest, who's 24, gonna be 24, I shouldn't say that, 23 now. And I showed him how to do it, and he was like, hey, your old mom has a few techie tricks. It's pretty cool. So that was fun. Sometimes I surprise my children. Okay. So Google Maps and Street View, I know we're still talking Google, but I think everybody can agree, when you use that Google navigation that's built into your phone, typically, it gives you Street View, and it's almost like you can kind of be there without being there in a way. And I know it's a dated photo, that's a compilation and all of that, so it might not be indicative of today. Maybe a building got torn down or something is different, but it still gives you, I like to look at it, the Street View, and I use the little arrows and I spin it around and I look what's across the street and go down the street and up and down the street, and all this stuff. So I can kind of see, like, how do the neighbors keep their houses? How far apart are the houses? Is there a double yellow line? Because sometimes people don't like to buy a house that's on a double yellow line, so I look for all of those indicators. And then you can look at the satellite view too and see, what's near there. Is there something that I should be concerned about? Maybe an industrial thing or something that might somehow devalue or, whatever with the purchase. So also it shows plot lines. It can show you your general terrain if you're near woods or water or, like I said, industrial places. Get a feel for the neighborhood and all that curb appeal. It's great for a deal worksheet. You can use the screenshots and put in a picture of the house. And of course, GPS, getting lost and being late to an appointment or just getting lost, period. It's no fun. So Google Maps and Street View. Hopefully everybody's using that. Google Calendar. So we have with our software, with our property management company, it came with, I love it. It came with this calendar that syncs with our Google Calendar. And it's just, I don't know. It's like I almost wanted to just cry when I saw it because it was just so cool. Everything that I had put in my Google Calendar for all this time, from doctor's appointments and dentist appointments to showings and appointments with clients and who knows what, right? Reminders and all this stuff, it synced. And it only synced the things I wanted it to. So, you know how you can have a business calendar or personal calendar, or you kind of label them differently? I selected the ones it synced with. So everybody at work didn't see necessarily when everybody's birthday in my family is, stuff like that. But using a Google Calendar, I would say a little more than half of the people that I work with in this industry use it. I like to use it because when you go to the calendar and you create an event, it allows you to put in so much information. So when you get the reminder and it pops up, and you can set the frequency of reminders and all of that to remind you a week out, a day out, a few hours ahead or whatever, if you have to prep something. It's great for birthdays and anniversaries. So you can put it in like a week in advance and then say, oh, yeah, that's that person's birthday. So you have time enough to get a present or make plans or send flowers or whatever. So it's pretty cool for life. But when it pertains to business, I can put in the meeting title, of course, and then the location, and I can invite that person to accept it, just like we do with those business meetings. So it has all of these great functions. It's kind of, I'll be honest, when I started using it, I was a day timer junkie. And I had a day timer, and I know I'm going back a little ways, probably in the 90s, I would say. I went to a meeting, a big day timer, thing. And it taught you all about the day timer and how you use the day timer and how great they were. And it totally hooked. I got hooked. And I was drinking the Kool-Aid pretty hard. And I got off a plane. I'm sure it happened to a lot of people. It's on the movies all the time. I got off a plane and it had slipped in between. I was a window seat, and it slipped in between the window seat and the cushion and the wall, of the plane. And I didn't see it. I got up, I left, and literally my life was in this thing. From my contacts, because then I didn't use the contacts we do today in our phones. I literally had contacts written down that I had written in, as well as all of my meetings and my personal information. And it was just such a huge, I felt like somebody, like ripped out my guts, because I just was like, how can I function without this, And I never retrieved it. God knows what happened to it. But it taught me a lesson, which was, yeah, having a hard copy is all great and everything, but it is, it's a tangible thing that can be misplaced, lost, or destroyed, or whatever the case. And I know the cloud isn't all that, but it allowed me to have a sense of a kind of redundancy and trust, because it helps me to remember. And now that with Google and our Alexa devices that we have in the house, it lets me put in appointments and, hey, remind me to do this and all that. And sure enough, it just helps so much, and it syncs all of that together. So I can't, kind of like say how helpful it is. It took me a while habitually to kind of get into it. I think I tried to do it for a good couple of months, and it probably took me 6 months to a year to actually fully embrace it, where I would catch myself and say, oh, no, got to put it in the calendar, got to put it in the calendar. And it was the Google Calendar. And the more I did it, the more I realized how great it was. So I hope you find the same, experience with it. But the other side thing that it has is, in Google, there's something called your Google Drive. So if you have an email account and you look at a Gmail, I should say, and you look at the little grid to the left of your picture, or that little, whether it's a initial or your picture, depending on how you've set up your profile, there's a grid there in the top right-hand corner of your screen when you're in your Gmail account. not on this screen. And in that grid, there is a triangle that has the primary colors. You Google primary colors. If you click on that, it's probably something many people don't even know they had. I was working with people. There was a real estate person here who's actually done a lot of our check-ins, Artis McMillan. I think some of you know him. So one day he was talking to me about something, how he had lost a document that he was working on. And I said, did you check your Google Drive? Because it was a Gmail document. And he says, no, like, what are you talking about? What's that? So I said, bring your laptop, let's sit and do it. So he takes it out and he clicks on it. And sure enough, there was history for years that he's like, oh my gosh, they don't do pictures anymore. I think they changed that for 2021, I'm pretty sure. But it used to be photos and emails and documents. And I had it, we all had it, and we didn't even know we did. So it would have saved me a lot of angst and heartache and time if I had known that that was saving things for me automatically. And also it has the ability, if you go into your Google Drive, I can share, because I have a virtual assistant that works out of Florida for our company, and I can share a spreadsheet or document, whatever it is, with her. And I can see her typing in it and I'm typing in a live document. So that's on the Google Drive. Okay. And you can share documents and spreadsheets and all kinds of stuff. So definitely a good thing to look at. Okay. All right. I promise you, this is the last Google thing I'm talking about, and then I'll get back to other non-Google related items. So Google Voice. So when you're dealing with homeowners and you have them calling an out of state or 800 or 888 number, they don't like that so much because they're like, who am I calling? And you're not from around here and all that. But Google Voice or Google offers the ability with an email, just like with TREIA, you get a free website. So with Google or Gmail, you get a voice number. So you get this free phone number. You can actually put in the first, the area code. So if you wanted to be calling out of Raleigh or Fayetteville or whatever, you can put that number in. So in our case, we would do 910, and you get assigned, you get to pick this number. They give you selection items and you get to pick it. So that gets connected with your email, your Gmail, I should say. With that, you have features. You can use a call forwarding feature. You can use an ID code. There's all these features that you can look at once you've done that. And you can put that local number on your signage, on your website, on your business card. So like for me, I've had the same Massachusetts-based, Boston-based phone number for probably 30 years. And I don't want to give it up because everybody that I've ever worked with and know has that number for me. And my family has it and so on. It's my mom's 86 now and she knows that number, and I don't want to get rid of that number. But we have our local 910 business number through Spectrum Business, but we also have our Google Voice local number. So if I'm giving it out or need to call somebody here and it's not from the office, I can call from my cell phone and still be calling from a Fayetteville number. And they don't get my personal number that way, So it's kind of like a safeguard for you. And also it gives the person that you're calling this local, vibe that, you're here and it's okay, even if you want to keep your number from Minnesota or whatever. Okay. All right. Non-Google. So getting back to kind of wrapping it up, use your toolbox. It has all these apps in it. There's so many more that I didn't talk about. And believe me, I Googled it. And I was kind of like, okay, I wonder who says what, and all the other ones that they listed when they call them apps, mostly were websites, and they were, Bigger Pockets and House and, Home Snap and like all of these major real estate based stuff, like for more like brokers. But some of them, obviously we use, there's just a lot of overlap there. But seriously, there's a lot of tools out there. Even if you were just to go to your Play Store or your App Store and type in real estate investor apps, you're probably going to see most of these that we talked about tonight and probably a ton of others. My only advice would be to look at the ratings and reviews before you start using them, because it obviously will give you a lot of information. So it does improve efficiency. I can do a lot of stuff on the go. It was kind of shocking actually when, I travel and I can use my laptop or my phone pretty much all the time now. When I have to physically be in the office is when I'm doing like kind of, office work, paperwork, like pushing paper around, doing accounting, things like that. But I can do the accounting now outside of the office too. So it's kind of amazing what, the technology and what we're doing now in this world that we're in. And with COVID, we've had to all pivot. And I think things became even more mobile and tech friendly, options. So anyway, for me, it gets and keeps me out of the office, so I'm not tied to a chair and a desk all day long. And having these resources, at our disposal, a lot of them are free. We just need to, to embrace them. So I hope that was helpful.
You are like the act queen. It always blows my mind how
Oh, I know.
how
I
well
couldn't
you
even begin to
you
find
deal with
half of
them.
them.
Yeah. We are getting a question about, is it okay if we release? Can you send us the slides?
Oh, absolutely.
Send them out
If they
to
can,
everybody?
my email is right on the screen there, Cheryl@patriotrealestateservices.us, not .com, because we actually get calls from that company in Texas. So it's Cheryl@patriotrealestateservices.us, and that's our website there. You can send me a request and I'll send you the whole presentation, no problem.
Excellent. Can you put, Cheryl, that in the chat, your email address?
Oh, sure, absolutely. Happy to do so.
That way people can copy and paste it.
Yep.
And I would say that is an early Christmas present
Yep.
in February.
Wait, how so? What Christmas present? I'm not picking up on the joke here. What do you mean?
That you are sharing your presentation.
Oh, that's so nice. I didn't think of it like that.
It is. That is priceless.
Yeah, absolutely.
Priceless.
Happy to share. So yeah, if somebody can the PDF app mention first do the same thing? Yes, actually a lot more. So DocuSign only is limited to signing documents, right? So you upload the documents, you select the fields you need people to sign and all that, fill in information. But PDF Filler, it's like this little, I don't even know. It's so much fun. It has the ability to upload documents, to download documents, to share a document. It's just, actually, you know what? I might be able to do this. Maybe I can log in and show it to you if you'd like. Do we have time? It's 7:03. Do we have time?
Yeah, you want to just flip over real quick?
Okay, I'm just gonna need to take a second here so I can do that. Give me 1 minute. Let me get out of this. Go into, so I use this probably, I would say somewhere in the vicinity of 5 to 10 times a day. And we use it in conjunction with our Appfolio program, our property management software program. So let me just get this. Okay. So, all right, so I'm going to share my screen. Let me see if I can do this now. Give me 1 minute. So I'm going to share, and we're going to go to this, share. Okay. So can everyone see the PDF Filler screen now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So this is a blank W-9 form I'm going to click on. It's going to take a second. And it's just a standard IRS form, okay? So instead of having to old school, like, go to print a form, type it out or write on it or whatever the case, you can literally, it's a fillable form that you can use on here, okay? So as you can see at the top of the screen, it has all the functions. If you go across where you can add text, you can sign it. We have our signatures loaded up in here. So when we need to sign something, we can sign it electronically with a handwritten signature, not just a typed signature. And then you can put in a date. check mark or cross if you have to X or check a box or circle something. You know, there's all these wonderful tools. But when you're done with the form, I'm going to close it out real quick. And what it does is, and I hope this is helpful to whoever was asking the question, it does do a lot more than DocuSign, yes. But I'm going to show you real quick here. So over on this side over here, okay, so the first little column is to open the document that's highlighted. Obviously to save it as something or convert it to, like I was talking earlier about a PDF converting to a Word document. So there's that function, and of course print function. You can print it to your printer so you have a hard copy, but what I like to do even better for me is I do a PDF print version, and then I can save that PDF on my computer and then upload that to an email. So I don't actually have to use any ink or paper or have a printer if I don't want to, if I'm on the road. So I can print it without printing it. And then obviously convert to a template. If I have a document like the one we just looked at, the W-9, and you're literally using it all the time, like the same form that you have to fill out over and over and over, you can convert that to a template so people can fill in, you know, the fields that are required. This one is probably my favorite. This is how you do the DocuSign in PDF Filler. You click on that little feather pen, send to sign, and you literally have the form here at the top where it says add document, and it's sitting there. And then if I wanted to add another one for signature, I could, you know, right there, add another document. But when I want to send a recipient to a recipient for signature, say I wanted to send it to my husband. So I do that, and then I type in his name. Oh, I can't even see it. So small. I have to put my glasses on. 1 second. I apologize for how tiny that is. Okay. So, and it says right there, need to sign. And their other is an in-person signer. So it won't let them sign it through an e-signature. But I want him to sign it that way. So then I can just go down a little bit more on the page, and I can create a welcome message. And my welcome message is filled in with all of the information I already put in there. So you have all this stuff, my name and everything. And it just says, this is what they're going to see over on this right-hand side in this blue. It says, hi, Cheryl has requested your signature on the documents below. If you have any questions, please contact her at this. And it also has a little video at the bottom they can click on, instructions for completing this document. Because some people just, you know, haven't used it before and they're not so familiar with it. So you have that option, right? So I'm going to literally click at the bottom of send to sign to him. So he's going to get that. And it says here, success, you know, your documents are all set and it's been sent. And you actually get a notification back when it has been signed. And it will be in, as soon as this loads, I'll show you. But it's going to be on the left-hand side in this right over here in and out box. So that's everybody that I've sent things to. I probably shouldn't be showing that. So let's go back to the dashboard. Because that's, you know. All right. So over here on the far right, this is where all the magic is. Okay. So when this document is highlighted, right, you can go over here and click on email, and it will just send an email to them. Of course, you have to put in their email address. If it's already one that you've used before, it will come up because it saves contacts. This is what I was talking about before with the fax. So you click it, and you do have to pay something to send the fax, but you know, it is an option. And especially these days, a lot of our offices, we don't want them or they don't have fax machines. So this is an option to get around that, a little workaround. And then that was the notarization that I talked about earlier. You can actually send a tax doc to the IRS. You can send it, you know, with the United States Postal Service. You can send it as a text message, or you can just download it. And then there's other things here for workflow. So you can share it, link to fill. You can sell it. I actually sold a form on it. It was the what was called the hardship. Gosh, what the heck did I call it? It was the COVID-19 tenant hardship form. And I sold it to PDF Filler. And so all across the country, people are using that form. And every time they use it, I get a few cents. It's not a lot, but it's a few cents. It's kind of fun. Maybe at the end of the year, I can buy a coffee or tea, because I don't drink coffee. And then you can send it for review, share with support, you know, and then down here at the bottom, if I keep going down here, you can see managing documents. You can rewrite it, rearrange it, split it, clear it. You can do bulk fill-ins, you know, all those great things. And you can open it down here at the bottom. You see, you can open it with Google if it's linked to that, or Office 365, whichever you prefer. So it's pretty cool as a you know, desktop, and the app on your phone obviously is a little bit less full as far as what it offers, but it's definitely, you know, all there. And you can go to, you know, for business, and there is, you know, all of these database. When you search the database and say you were looking for, I don't know, let's see, contract. Let's see, so I'm searching for that. So you can see here, it's not found under my documents, but I can actually search PDF filler, or I can search the US legal database. So if I click on the local PDF filler, it's going to give me options, you know, right here. So North Carolina real estate contract, offer to purchase and contract form 2T 2019, IRS forms, all this stuff. So it's pretty cool, you know, for the $9.99 I think we pay a month for that. So I hope that really answered your question. I know that was probably overkill, but it's always good to see things, you know, it's kind of cool.
That
No,
definitely
it's
answered my
never
question.
overkill, honey. We'll take as much info as we can get. Holy
Okay.
I'm just-
moly. Seriously. That was
Why-
great.
Why would anybody use DocuSign over that? Is it?
Right? I know
yeah.
there are people that
Mhm.
I've worked with in, you know, real estate. I've trained, I was an instructor and all that in real estate for brokers and agents up in Massachusetts. And they're like, DocuSign, and I'm like, yeah, but this does, it's like going to an amusement park and riding on one ride and not the whole amusement park, you know? I'm like, I want everything. If I'm going to pay the money, I want to have access to it all.
I
That's
think
right.
DocuSign's like $30 a month too, or something, isn't it?
Oh, I didn't even know that because I don't even use it anymore.
Yeah.
So Cheryl, PDF though, it's accepted as a legal signature. I know DocuSign was through the commission, and so if you're buying a house, selling a house, it acts.
It actually has a time and date stamp where it says this document was signed by PDF filler, date, time stamp. However, depending on who you're talking about, I've had a few kicked back by certain like institutions, I would say, more like some banks and stuff. And so we have to do something a little different, you know, think around like outside the box, a little think around, work around. But yeah, mostly I would say yes, mostly, not all, but most, you know.
Okay.
Can I
Right.
share a little success story, which is a workaround? Do I have time?
We got to make it really quick, but
Okay,
yes,
I will
we love
make
your
it super
success.
fast.
Yeah.
So anyone who has, and I'm not trying to be the bad Grinch landlord here, but anyone who has a rental property that they own or someone manages for them that has a expired lease, and it's more than 30 days expired, and you want to get possession of that home or rental property back. What you can do is, and I can only speak to it because firsthand I did it. I tried it in December with one and successfully was able to gain possession through a holdover tenant eviction back. The person did have unpaid rent, but you don't mention that. You don't go for that. You say, we're not seeking damages this time. You can go back and get them later. Okay. But you're going for a holdover eviction, and that's it. And you have to have all of the data, and you can email me for what you need to be in court with as far as documentation. But I did it once in December. That was my test case. I just did 4 more yesterday. And they were 10 out of 12 months unpaid rent for these. And because of the moratoriums, I couldn't touch them for non-payment, so I didn't. I just went for the holdover eviction, and we were able to get possession, win the evictions, to get possession later in the month for 4 of these rental properties. So as you can imagine, clients were thrilled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I mean, people need to remember it's bad, right? But the landlord has to pay the mortgage. So you
Right.
can 12 months, you're carrying.
That's a lot of holding costs.
Yeah, it's a ton.
That's
And
putting
honestly, I know that's not what this presentation was about, but it was just such a, it was exceptional because out of these 4 people, 3 of them showed up, the first 3, and they all said to the judge, I want to thank, I was sitting there, and usually they're mad at you when you evict them, right?
Mhm.
And they were sitting across the table saying, I just want to thank you so much. And they were saying things like, you, because we connected them with programs to help them, like Hope and Endeavor, and we did payment plans, and we did just everything, you know, and they were so grateful. I was in shock. I have literally never had a person that I evicted say thank you before. And not only did 4 do it, 3 did it, and the 4th one didn't show up. But anyway, it was a huge, like, workaround win. And I did put it on the Facebook page for the Triangle, the TREIA group Facebook page. It is on there as a comment, but it's probably buried in something somewhere now. But if anybody is doing that, I can definitely tell you which documents the judge is going to ask for if you want to do that or care to.
Good. Good
Excellent.
deal.
Yeah. So
All right,
Let's give
great.
that a resource.
Lots of great information.
Once again, you're a
Always.
front. Always. All right, guys, if there's no more questions, we're gonna wrap it up. Thanks for being here.